What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Reviews by Ryan channel. Happy Monday, a happy 4th of July to everyone here in the United States. Hope you're enjoying your holiday so far. And for those at Anime Expo, I hope you're enjoying your fourth and final day of the expo in Los Angeles. This is not a reaction to any specific anime, so if you're looking for any of my video reactions, please feel free to check out my YouTube playlist for shows that I have done reactions to or is actively reacting to. I just prior to this video posted up my Classroom of the Elite reaction and also have the Rent a Girlfriend reaction for season 2 up as we kick off the summer season. Those are going to be joys to watch for sure. But this video is going to be just to talk about how the spring shows did and what ended up coming in top 10 per Anime Corner. So again, a big thanks to everyone who voted. Anime Corner has been the primary reaction board that I have been using, even though I have some disagreements, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But we'll get to that after we talk about the list. So up on the screen, as you can see, this is the top 10 as chosen by the community. A big thanks to the over 31,000 fans who did vote in the top 10 board. These results were released on July 3rd, from April 1st to July 3rd. So in number 1, and this I do agree with. I didn't agree with it most of the entire season, but after the phenomenal execution of these 12th and 13th episode, there's no way in the world I could disagree. Kaguya-sama Love is War Ultra Romantic was definitely the best show that came out in the spring season. And it's funny because if you'd watched any of my Kaguya or Spy X Family reactions, every Spy X Family reaction I said it was Spy X Family. But there's one key difference here. Kaguya concluded their season, and that's it. This part of the project is done. Spy X Family is split down the middle. It's a 2-cour show, which kind of makes it a little unfair to give it the full top pedestal when the season is not actually complete yet. So with that said, along with the just absolutely magical presentation that we got from Miyuki and Kaguya leading up to the infamous kiss, which was quite a dramatic kiss, might I note, Kaguya-sama has confidently and comfortably taken its place at the number 1 on this board as your number 1 most liked anime of the season. In number 2 was Date A Live, and my goodness, to see Date A Live ahead of Spy X Family, I have to admit, it was a complete shocker, but I know what caused it. I've been saying it throughout all the Date A Live reactions, and it just is what it is. It is, oh goodness, I'm messing up my freaking terminology now. See, this is what Kurumi does to you. It messes you up. This is the Kurumi effect. And Kurumi truly got the community all up in a tizzy in a good way and catapulted the show up into number 2. And I have to admit, it was a phenomenal ending part to this season. The last 3 or 4 episodes definitely were top tier, and you know, Date A Live definitely deserves to be at the top of this list. In number 3 for the end of the first cour, it was Spy X Family coming in with 9.12% of the votes. Your boy Kang Ming coming in at number 4 with 5.52% of the votes, and I did watch that. I'm going to talk about your boy Kang Ming when I talk about my personal top 5 once I'm finished reading through this list. In number 5, The Executioner and Her Way of Life ended up in number 5 with 4.63% of the votes. This was not a show I watched, so I cannot speak on it, but I'm very happy that you guys enjoyed the show. It is a show that's on my list to kind of watch at a later point during the summer, and I'll talk about what my opinions are about that in a later video. In number 6 is Tomodachi Game, coming in with 4.28% of the votes, and you know, what a hell of a finale we had with that show, and I can't wait to see what's going to end up happening from the 4th game that has yet to start, or will be starting when we inevitably get a second season announcement. Summertime Rendering, also one that I did not get a chance to get past the first episode on. Also, it is, to my understanding, it is also a 24-25 episode show. So again, it's not really done, and I kind of disagree with shows ending up in the top of a specific season when it's not done yet, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's number 7, and I heard it's been a great show. So for all of you who have been keeping up with it, I'm glad it's been as enjoyable as you say it's been. I do fully believe you, and I do plan to watch that at a later time. Number 8, The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 ended up with 3.75% of the votes. That's a travesty. We'll talk about that later. Number 9, I'm Quitting Heroing. I did hear that was a relatively good show, ending up with 3.74% of the votes. And number 10, last but not least on the top 10 list, is Aharen is Indecipherable, ending up with 3.70% of the votes, and was also a quality production. There is a show on this list that does not deserve to be on this list, and that is The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. Collectively, I watched, I want to say 14 shows this spring season. Out of these 14 shows, I reacted to 12 of them. No, 11, 12, one of those two numbers. And Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 was one of the ones I reacted to. I was absolutely glowing with The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 when it first started. Y'all know this if you watch those video reactions. Absolutely was glowing. I couldn't wait to see what was going to come. You know, the Spirit Tortoise didn't really sound like the greatest story point in the world, but I was looking forward to having some more of that Shield Hero magic that we came to know and love during the first season. There was none of that magic. That magic was completely not present. And then when the second arc came, I was incredibly optimistic. Cool, we're going to Glass World. Everything's going to be great. The story's going to pick up. And there were signs of the old Shield Hero in the second arc. However, they then just completely bombshelled it with, again, rushing through everything because we wasted too much time on the Spirit Tortoise arc. And then we got a fake finale episode in episode 12, which basically rushed through Kyo's motives of his suicide and why he was doing all of this. And then they went back to their world, and then suddenly the other heroes were useful, and so on and so forth. And then episode 13 was just a travesty because they should have just included those snippets from episode 13 in the various points that they should have been in the episode where Raphtalia and were going to get clothes, and when Kizuna was in the Infinite Labyrinth and things like that. These scenes should have been with those episodes. Why we felt the need to put them in episode 13 as a flashback while showing content that wasn't provided originally was poor storyboarding. That's all it was. And I know that I've seen some people say, well, guys, you got to understand they had a limitation of episode counts and this and that. Yes, we've watched plenty of shows that has a limitation of episode counts that has managed to execute phenomenally. And that's not acceptable. We have been treated to many shows that have proven it is very possible to have a 13 episode show in this day and time and be able to show the story to the best of your ability. We don't expect it to be 100% perfect, and there's no anime that truly is 100% perfect to its source material. Even my number 1 and number 2 shows of all time wasn't 100% consistent, which ended up being Code Geass and Fruits Basket. Wasn't 100% to the manga, to the light novel, but it did a damn good job and executed, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 production with what it set out to do. That is unacceptable. We are giving them a excuse to run with that they ran out of time, when the reality of the matter is, with proper storyboarding, Shield Hero could have been at least an 8 out of 10. It wasn't. It was completely unsatisfactory, and it received a failing grade from me. And not only did it receive a failing grade from me, out of the 14 shows I watched this season, it was the worst one. It was terrible. It was a travesty. While it wasn't on the level of travesty that was The Promised Neverland Season 2, there's going to be a lot of improvement they have to make for me to be excited about the season 3, because it already was previously announced, which I think they shouldn't have done that. Should just focus on season 2. But alas, that's where we're at. So I'm not happy about this. I completely disagree with the community thinking this was a top 10 show, at least per Anime Corner, and we got to do better because that ain't it. But alas, this is your list. So now that I've gotten my ramble out the way, my top 5. And I was going to add this into one of my reactions for the summer season, but I decided just to make this as a standalone video so that my other reaction videos don't become too bloated. But I did want to talk about, out of this, my top 5. My top 5 more or less does agree with the top 5 in this list, with just a little bit of a shakeup in order, and one show that should be in this top 10 that is not, and is another reason why I'm over this community right now. Just because of, things that I've talked about in those reactions. In number 1, Kaguya-sama absolutely was the top show of the season. I agree. Spy X Family had preached about it all season, and it still ended as a 10 out of 10. Let's not misunderstand. All the comments I made about Spy X Family being a generational show, a decade show, a show that we're going to look back on and realize, wow, this was a fucking amazing show. It is still that show. But Kaguya had a lot riding on its success or failure, and I said if they executed the scene that it needed to execute flawlessly, it would put itself at an absolutely untouchable pedestal. And not only is Kaguya-sama my number one show on the list, Kaguya-sama Love is War Ultra Romantic, as of this video, still stands alone at the top of the MAL rating boards at 9.16%, making it the number one most liked anime in MAL's history, dethroning for more than just a week Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's a crazy accomplishment. A just big shout out and congratulations to all the animators and producers and story writers and storyboard, everyone who was involved with this entire anime, but especially with this season. This season truly was peak anime, and I'm very happy to see and agree that Kaguya-sama should be in number one. Slightly behind Kaguya-sama for me is Spy X Family in number two. I believe that was absolutely another 10 out of 10 master level performance that they did, and just I just continue to have nothing but glowing praises for what Spy X Family delivered. The plot itself wasn't overly sophisticated, but the execution was perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's a show, just a feel-good show. You got your typical spy type feelings and emotions with a show like this. They just executed its theme perfectly. And it is, in my opinion, my number two most enjoyed show of the season. In number three, it would have been Date A Live. It would have absolutely been Date A Live had I not watched your boy Kong Ming a few days ago. And I have to say that your boy Kong Ming deserves to be number three. That was a treat. Your boy Kong Ming was an absolute treat. What a treat that show was. The theme of the show, the Chinese history elements, and then you have Echo with her wanting to be at the top EDM festival. How the hell did those two things even go together and actually work as a show? Well, look no further than your boy Kong Ming. I cannot begin to say how glowing I was watching that. It was a phenomenal show. And in my opinion, it was my third most enjoyed show of the spring season. And so I do agree with it being in this top 10 list, and in my list, it was number three. And then shortly following behind it, Date A Live at number 4 due to the Kurumi effect. And in number 5, in my top 5 list for the spring shows, is a show that has been dogged, it has been played, it has been disrespected, it has been spit on, everything in between. A show that no one truly wanted to give the time of day for, and a show that really never made it in Anime Corner's ratings and only made it in Anime Trends ratings several times during the season. A show that has consistently, week after week after week after week, delivered a phenomenal presentation of story writing and wholesome characters. Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie. Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie was my number 5 most enjoyed show of this season. It has not ended yet. I have no doubt in my mind that next week's episode will be a master level conclusion to that show. All of the hate because Izumi is not this over male Chad, Giga Chad, whatever you want to call him, that he's a male that unfortunately has softer than normal tendencies, and you don't like seeing soft men, and Shikamori takes care of him. But they have such a good chemistry with each other that really, that's what it is on paper, that she takes care of him. But really, they take care of each other. And in a way, I believe that Izumi as a character saved Shikamori in helping her understand that, he would accept her for everything she was trying to be. while also being a cutie. So, because if for all of you that watched the last episode, you'll know that Shikamori was very, very extremely tomboyish prior to her deciding that she wanted to be more feminine-like and ultimately running into Izumi in their first meeting. This was absolutely a top 10 show, and my top 5 list, I believe, falls right in the number 5 spot. It's been an absolutely enjoyable show, easily a 9 out of 10 presentation. And shame on this entire community for dogging the show the way they did, all because of the fact Izumi wasn't a freaking Giga Chad that was just always being overly dominant with everything. I like those characters just as much as the next person, but it's always nice getting that, be brought back down and understand that there are more than just Giga Chad males. There are definitely males that may not be as confident in the things that they do, but still try to do the best that they can. And that's the thing. My thing is Kazuya from Rent-A-Girlfriend, that's useless. This guy is anything but useless. And can we not talk enough about this wholesome group of friends? This wholesome group. Every single person in this group is wholesome as hell. Wholesome as hell. And Kamiya joined the gang now. Also wholesome. So it just, I fail to understand why the show got so much hate. And, I just had to accept that, we just like toxicity. We like our toxic male and female characters. And unfortunately, that toxicity has played out in the community and reared its ugly head. And Shikamori has definitely been played more than it should have. It absolutely should have been on the top 10 list for Anime Corner, and I feel it should be on the top 10 list for any rating board for this season. But again, these are just my opinions, and you are more than welcome to disagree. You're going to be wrong with your opinion, but you're still more than welcome to disagree. So with that said, that is what I wanted to talk about in this specific video. I promised you guys at the end of my Kage video that I would make a separate reaction video solely about how the season did once the top 10 ratings were up. And I do hope that these ratings more or less matched how you felt for the season. So with that said, that's the conclusion of this video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Again, the summer 2022 season is well underway now. We do have some shows that will be starting a little later, including Love Live Superstars starting later in the month. And starting on Wednesday of this week, my top anticipated summer show and one of the most anticipated shows of the year, Made in Abyss. So I hope to see you guys in those reactions. If you are interested in this content and want to see more of it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction goes live. So that's it. Thanks a lot for listening to this video today, and until the next reaction, catch you later.